The day after I attended its swan feeds, I still wasn't done with the Welney Wetland Centre yet. But it looked like the elements might be against me. Not only was it raining, but the wind was even stronger than yesterday. Well, this place is certainly living up to being a wetland at the moment. This rain is not ideal. Across the road from the ooze washers, there is another area of wetland known as Lady Fen, which, despite the rain, has managed to stay considerably less flooded. As such, it is prime habitat for many different species of wading birds, and I was able to sit comfortably in the cafe watching the skies come alive with flocks of lapwings and golden plovers. The main reason I'd come to Welney today was to head out onto the Lady Fen, but not for its birds. My hope today was for a close encounter with the UK's fastest land animal. The brown hare, unlike the mountain hare and its close relative the rabbits, doesn't live in burrows. It lives in what we call forms, which are just these shallow depressions in the ground, so that if anything comes to try and hunt it, it can instantly make a fast getaway. But because they don't have burrows, it means they might need to find some other form of shelter in conditions like this. It's very wet, very windy, but here's hoping it doesn't put them off too much. Fortunately, when 2 p.m. rolled around and it was time for the guided hare walk to begin, the rain had stopped, though the wind remained a constant. And as we trudged across the muddy fen, it wasn't long before we found a fawn. It was even smaller than I'd been expecting, no more than a small hollow in some tall grass. But it was fresh, meaning that the hares were doubtless close by. And 5 minutes later, while most of the hares chose to keep away from us, one of them opted to keep very still and rely on its camouflage. From a distance, it looked just like a large clump of dry grass. Eventually, though, it decided that perhaps we had noticed it after all. Well, it seems that all of my worries about the weather turned out to be completely unfounded. Despite the heavy wind playing absolute havoc with my camera lens, we got incredibly close to a hare, within about 10 to 15 feet. And our guide, Mr. Winchester, said he'd been doing these hare walks for 7 years and he could still count the number of times we'd gotten that close on one hand, so we were extraordinarily lucky. Hopefully I'll be able to stabilise the footage in post, and so it won't look quite so horrendously wobbly as it does at the moment. But that was an unmitigated success, and now it's on to the next adventure.